custom of reading the book of Ruth for Shabu'ot is first found in Masechet Sofrim, a tractate that was compiled by the Geonim in the 8th century. Since that time, many reasons have been given explaining why Ruth is read on the holiday of Shabu'ot. One reason is that Shabu'ot is celebrated during the harvest, and when the Torah commands us to observe the holiday of Shabu'ot, it also mentions the mitzvot of leaving certain portions in the field for the poor. The book of Ruth also takes place during the harvest, and in the story, Boaz leaves those portions in the field and allows Ruth to collect them. Another reason is that we celebrate receiving the Torah on Shabu'ot. Similarly, Ruth accepted the Torah upon herself when she converted to Judaism. And another reason, the Torah is described as a Torah Hesed, a Torah of kindness in the book of Mishleh, and the book of Ruth has many examples of performing kindness. In fact, the Midrash on Ruth taught that the purpose of the book of Ruth is to show how good the reward is for those that perform kindness. Yet another reason is that the book of Ruth demonstrates the importance of the oral Torah, which taught that even though it's not permitted to marry a male Moabite convert, it is permitted to marry a female Moabite convert. That allowed Boaz to marry Ruth. The importance of the oral Torah is a relevant point to highlight on the day that we celebrate receiving the Torah. One more reason is that the end of the book of Ruth shows how David HaMelech descended from Ruth, who according to our tradition was born and also passed away on the holiday of Shabu'ot. The custom of the Ashkenazim is to read the book of Ruth in the synagogue on Shabu'ot before the reading of the Torah. Some Ashkenazim even read Ruth from a kosher Megillah and recite a blessing before reading it. However, the custom of the Sephardim is to read Megillat Ruth informally from a printed book and without reciting a blessing beforehand. The Sephardim also recite Azharot, a poetic rendition of the 613 mitzvot in Shabu'ot. Regarding reciting Azharot, Hakam Abraham Hamway wrote in his Mahzor v'Shabu'ot, which he called Bet Hashem, that the custom in North Africa is to recite the Azharot of Rabbi Yitzhak ben Reuben, but the custom in the Middle East in Spain is to recite the Azharot of Rabbi Shlomo ibn Gebirol. In his book on the customs of Halab, Arking Joseph Harari wrote that on Shabu'ot it is customary to study the Azharot that were composed by Rabbi Shlomo ibn Gebirol, Ruth and Mishleh, each person in their house. Similarly, the book Derech Eretz quoted Hakam Edmond Kohen, who said that on the holiday of Shabu'ot they read Ruth, Azharot, and part of the book of Mishleh. Regarding the reading of the book of Mishleh on Shabu'ot, Hakam Yitzhak Shaherbar wrote in his book Yitzhak Yeranen that the old custom of Halab was to teach the school children the book of Mishleh with the Arabic explanation prior to the holiday of Shabu'ot, and it was read on the holiday at home, not in the synagogue. The custom of reading Ruth on Shabu'ot began 1300 years ago and is observed by Jews all over the world. The custom of Middle Eastern and Spanish Jews is to also recite the Azharot that were composed in Spain in the 11th century by Rabbi Shlomo ibn Gebirol. In Halab, it was customary to recite the Azharot and Ruth at home with the family in the afternoon on the days of Shabu'ot. In addition to reciting the Azharot and Ruth, it was customary in Halab to also read from the book of Mishleh at home on the afternoons of Shabu'ot. On the first day of Shabu'ot, we begin by singing a poem about the Ten Commandments that begins Amon Yom Zeh. It was composed in Spain in the 12th century by the poet David ben Alazar ibn Pakuda. Then we sing the Azharot for the positive commandments, followed by the first half of the book of Ruth, which is read with ta'amim. On the second day of Shabu'ot, we sing the Azharot for the negative commandments, followed by the second half of the book of Ruth. After reading Ruth, it was customary to read from the book of Mishleh with ta'amim on both days of Shabu'ot.